Every time we play the Hold Steady's Girls Like Status, it means that we have a Jordan and Bill Belichick update. Just for reference, if you'll recall, the magazine show CBS this morning that airs on Sunday mornings is designed to be uplifting for people watching television on Sundays. It is Bill Belichick has a book called Winning that some of you have theorized is getting very good publicity. Vegas now has odds on a bunch of stuff with his relationship.
Yep.
So just to give you some perspective, you go sit down. I guess they only talked to him for half an hour, so it was a really low-stakes affair. Like, sometimes for these CBS morning things, like, again, my reference with this is Gorman. They took Gorman and, like, went around Boston with him, and, like, they did a big thing. So this was really, like, something they weren't putting a lot of effort into. And someone told me Julian Edelman was talking about how your publicist will sit in the room and start screaming and yelling at the interviewers, and that's just the way things go. And I can tell you, as someone who's done, and you guys too, someone who's done thousands of interviews, done junkets with like Sylvester Stallone and stuff. No. I mean, there might be a publicist sitting in back, and there have been times where they'll go like they would like not to talk about this one thing, right? But CBS this morning is not, under any circumstance, I'm just going to tell you this beforehand, agreed to not talk about his relationship with Jordan because it's the only reason they're doing the interview. They're doing the interview. He's doing it to promote his book. They're doing it because of his weird relationship. It's a give and take, right? We need ratings. You need to sell the book. We're using each other. That's what interviews are. They're not because you're friends. And this is a very low-stakes interview. But then this happened.
Jordan was a constant presence during our interview.
You have Jordan right over there. Everybody in the world seems to be following this relationship. They've got an opinion about your private life. It's got nothing to do with them, but they're invested in it. How do you deal with that?
Never been too worried about what everybody else thinks. Just try to do what I feel like is best for me and what's right.
Okay, so remember that. He doesn't care what anyone thinks, okay? Remember that. Because he's lying. And he's lying in real time. Like, he's lying, and now the lie just keeps stretching for some reason.
How did you guys meet?
Not talking about this.
No?
No.
Okay, so they took an interview that they were sitting down. Usually these interviews are, I thought, at least an hour, but certainly they can go a day or two, like following you around and doing a piece. This was nothing to them. And she somehow took it and mangled it to the point where it's become a crisis for them. I can't tell you enough how hard that is to do. It's almost like she strapped a bomb to herself. Like she couldn't be worse at her quote-unquote job than she was. None of this should be happening. None of this. He wasn't walking into like the Howard Stern show in 1998. This wasn't designed to make him look bad.
No, this isn't a gotcha stunt interview.
All right, so something happens, really big deal. There's some speculation about your dumb relationship. Like, all right, maybe this goes away. Well, no, because on Monday, Jordan starts firing off emails that she says Bill wrote. People are speculating there's no way Bill wrote them. She's retweeting a bunch of people. One of them said Bill should have reached over and strangled the host, which would have been fun to see. After all, he was in the Navy. No, 73-year-old comes to strangle me, I'll kill you. How about this, Bill? Come strangle me. I'll beat the living hell out of you.
But he walks like 2 miles an hour on a treadmill for 10 minutes every day.
I just like that he should have strangled the guy. This strapping, good-looking young man doing the interview, that guy would destroy him. Are we under the illusion that Bill's a tough guy? He should have strangled him. Yeah, that's right, Jordan. You're a big, strong young man. You're beefcake man. I'm 50. I'd ruin the guy. All right, so here we go. But he coached football. All right, so he comes out. And he now, Bill, in all his wisdom, he doesn't care about what anyone says, right? Well, here's what he does. He comes out yesterday, and he releases a statement because he cares so little about what everyone says. Now he's releasing statements. All they had to do was do nothing. This would have gone away in 2 seconds. And as you said, John, now this is on the BBC. It's on the Australian news. It's all over the world. I'm not exaggerating. Again, this would have came and went. And this is not selling one book. All this doing is damaging him. And shedding, you got Charles Barkley saying that he's worried about him. Yeah. I guess they're like friendly. Charles Barkley came out and said he's worried about him.
Yeah.
And he goes, I don't want to say anything bad about the guy, but I'm worried about him. So Bill Belichick says, I agreed to speak to CBS Sunday morning to promote my new book, The Art of Winning, blah, blah, blah. Prior to the interview, I clearly communicated with my publicist at Simon & Schuster that any promotional interviews I participated in would agree to focus solely on the contents of the book. Well, Simon & Schuster probably said, okay, no. We're Simon & Schuster. We're a huge publishing house. You're doing interviews in press. You wrote a book no one cares about. You're going to go out there and promote it. Simon & Schuster is huge. He got a book deal with Simon & Schuster. That's like the golden ticket. Unfortunately, that expectation was not honored during the interview. I was surprised when the unrelated topics were introduced. And I repeatedly expressed to the reporter, Tony, whatever, and the producers that I preferred to keep the conversation centered around the book. After that occurred several times, Jordan, with whom I share both a personal and professional relationship, stepped in to reiterate that point and help refocus the discussion. She was not deflecting any specific question or topic. Well, she was deflecting a topic. The topic was your relationship. That was what she was deflecting. What's wrong with him? Is he really an idiot? Everything you've just said is you didn't want to talk about it. She was deflecting the topic. And he wrote this? She was not deflecting any specific question or topic, but simply doing her job to ensure her job. Well, guess what? Get someone else to do it. To ensure the interview stayed on track, some of the clips make it appear as though we were avoiding the question of how we met. You did avoid the question of how you met.
Specifically, that's exactly what happened.
Why is he boy, she's got him by the balls. So anyway, that happens. So, right?
Real quick, Fred, I don't want you to gloss over the fact that the whole focus of this is we wanted to focus what was in the book on what was in the book. He mentions her in the book? Like, what does he say about her? She's his muse and all this, right?
Yeah,
he doesn't mention Bob Kraft in his book at all, and the acknowledgments in the book at all. Talks about his girlfriend in the book. Yeah. So if we're going to talk about what's in the book, then that subject's on the table.
Right. At the very least, it's odd and merits discussion. I mean,
anyway, it's asinine that he told his publisher, great, Simon & Schuster, I assure you, as someone who's interviewed people if you got a big book, it's Simon & Schuster or Random House or Penguin. It's one of those three. They don't go. They want you got a book deal with us. You're sitting down. When Less Than Zero came out with Bret Easton Ellis, they had him traveling the world. I mean, I interviewed Bret. Every author I've had, they want them doing press, and so CBS now comes out because they're like, "This is great.
Yeah,
let's keep this going as long as possible." CBS says, when we agreed to speak to Mr. Belichick, it was for a wide-ranging interview. There were no preconditions or limitations to this conversation. This was confirmed repeatedly with his publisher before the interview took place and after it was completed. So, nonsense. Again, it's just BS. And if he doesn't care about what people are saying, why are they doing all of this? Why won't they just let this stop? We were not going to talk about this today, but his behavior is so effing odd, and he just continues to push this. She made him put out that statement.
Right. And also his literary agency, so it's not Simon & Schuster. As you can imagine, there are a lot of people who have their hands in this thing.
Okay,
right?
Go ahead, sure.
So Inkwell Management is the literary agency, I guess, either hired by Bill or Simon & Schuster or jointly that sets these things up. So they put out a statement also. Earlier this month, Bill sat down with CBS Sunday Morning to discuss his book, His Life in Football, in his perspective and how he has done his job. The nature and orientation of the discussion was known in advance to Bill and CBS, and indeed, Bill did talk football. But the segment that was shown to the public veered into a discussion of Bill's personal life and away from the subject of his book, resulting in a raft of hostile social media posts about his personal life. First of all, I think, well, those posts existed beforehand.
They're still not suggesting that there was any parameters that he couldn't talk about his personal life.
And then it ends with Bill has written an authoritative and entertaining book about success that should be judged by its contents, not by the clicks generated by the segment.
Yeah, and there would be no clicks generated by that segment if Jordan Hudson had behaved and not been there. Again, to reiterate what is on at Toucher and Hardy, if you're a lawyer who's banging a young woman, she doesn't get to come to court with you the next day. If you're a doctor who's banging a young woman, she doesn't get to go poke around the bodies that you're operating on.
Once I found out that the book didn't have anything about Malcolm Butler or any of the real things I wanted to read about, I lost all interest. I don't want to read it. Don't care.
And by the way,
unless the book, and from what I understand, from what Shaughnessy wrote about and others who have read it, there are personal anecdotes in this book. It is not a textbook with just X's and O's and plays drawn up on page after page after page. There is a huge personal aspect to this book. So to think that CBS would agree to an interview that is just going to talk nothing but gridiron, keep it on the field, is ludicrous because the book is more than that anyway.
And regardless, his personal persona now is his relationship with this woman. That is what's out there. That's what is his message. That the social media things that he controls, the public image that he's putting out, is all centered around this relationship. She was in a Dunkin' Donuts commercial with them that aired during the Super Bowl. Okay? Point made, done. There's no way CBS this morning does that interview if they're just going to talk about football with them. No one in their audience would care.
Hasn't been as big of a disaster as this CBS interview since that Crashmore one.
Unprofessional bull. That's why no one watches AOL Blast.
All right, so now you're right, John. People are Santa Claus was very mean in that. So now you're right. The New York Post now is starting to look into what's going on.
Everybody's looking into it. Not
Yeah.
TMZ is great at ambushing people at the Los Angeles airport. They get a bunch of guys like that. This is different. These are legitimate news organizations that are looking at him.
For someone who didn't want their personal relationship talked about, they did everything in their power to make it a huge story that now people are digging into. Again, she couldn't be worse at her job. She took something that was a light little affair and turned it into this. New York Post. Here we go. Bill Belichick's spry girlfriend, Jordan Hudson, has amassed a New England real estate portfolio worth about $8 million. All within months of the fisherman's daughter meeting the 73-year-old ex-Patriots coach, according to property records. Hudson, 24, bought three multifamily homes across the Boston area in December 2023 for about $7.5 million, inking millions of dollars in mortgage agreements within days, documents reviewed by Realtor.com show. Just 2 months earlier, Hudson dropped $610,000 on a cottage in the scenic Cape Cod town of Harwich, which she listed as her home address on the mortgage documents. Good job, Bill.
This is a movie. This will be a movie in the future. This will be a movie.
$2.2 million Dorchester townhouse that she bought with a $1.2 million mortgage. Sounds like she put $1 million down.
Yeah. Jesus. Well, listen, she's just out of college. So this is all. Listen, hey, Bill, I'm a real estate expert, too. I'm going to buy a $5 million townhouse in Dorchester.
On the very same day, she took out another 1.2 mortgage on another
one-bedroom in
Dorchester
Roxbury
townhouse for $2.3 million. So there's $1.1 million down.
So now she's handling his investing affairs. And by the way, $8 million to Bill Belichick isn't like just change. So now she's turning around and running around with his money, buying a bunch of properties with it, because now she's a wheeling and dealing real estate mogul.
It was funny enough when we just thought she was blowing it on custom outfits to wear out onto the practice field during, the spring scrimmages and stuff. But now it's hysterical. Oh, it's millions.
$8 million.
It's millions in mortgages. Yes, it's millions in down payments on multiple properties.
Oh, by the way, and this just scratches the surface. So they just went to Realtor.com and found that she had $8 million of his money that she's buying a bunch of real estate with. They wait until they start searching for other stuff.
I'm just
that's just in the Boston area.
You think this is it? You think that this is all that she's done?
So let's
Scratching
review
the surface of
So
what's
let's
happening
review.
here.
He starts dating this girl. He then starts taking her out. It's kind of weird. And now she's not only running his business in control of his media presence, she's now investing his money. So Bill has handed his life. Fred, no, he hasn't. Yes, he has. What more could he give her? What more could he give her? She's his public face. She's in control of all these things she's copywriting and all these businesses she's starting for him that we know about. And there's like at least 10 of them. She's now taking his money and buying a bunch of properties with it. What more could she do? What more could she have access to? She has access to all his money, and she has access to his balls, and she has access to blow up his life. This is a unmitigated disaster, and I feel sorry for his family.
There's no escape from.
No escape from.
You know what?
Bert Breer says she's a landlord and his publicist.
Well,
she's his landlord and publicist.
But you
I've
say
heard stories.
Investing his money. I don't know if it's his money anymore. I don't know. I don't know what the mortgages say and all this stuff. But
the mortgages are in her name,
so it's not his money. It's hers now.
Yes, she had $8 million. Her dad's a fisherman, and her mom works at a sex shop.
The fishing business went out of business a long time ago when they and sadly, I'm not goofing out over this. They apparently changed the fishing rights and stuff. So
let's just put it this way: and her mom works at a sex shop apparently in Providence. They don't have any money. All right, now she's got $8 million to go buy properties in her own name. But Bill's winning the day, guys. Keep commenting on our videos that we're jealous and that Bill's super great. He's lost his effing mind.
Oh, another reason for you to hate Twitter. One of the immediate posts after that first New York Post article was about some guy said with the 4 photographs of the house. He goes, those places altogether aren't even worth $200,000 because if you don't live around Boston, you see a 3-family like that, and you're like, yeah, what's the big deal about that place? And yeah, in Wichita, I'm sure it doesn't look like a whole lot, but people are already pushing back. It's like, they're not that much. You didn't spend that. Shut up! You don't know what you're talking about. Twitter, it's the worst.
Well, the people commenting on Twitter, Hardy, obviously are international art dealers. Who are very.
You know what is
moguls.
satisfying about that though, as ruined as that site has become, especially under the control of Elon Musk, you can now, one of the metrics you see is you can see how many people have seen a reply. You never got to see that before. Now you can, and it's just so pitiful. It's the saddest thing in the world. These people that are replying to these big tweets, and 7 people saw your reply.
Yeah,
no one is paying attention.
It's screaming into the ether, exactly. And big real estate expert. Look, and you could even say, well, they're good investments. Yeah, but he's got a 24-year-old making them. All of a sudden, she's a captain of landlords. She's the cat now. What is she managing the properties, or did she have a friend from school that's managing the properties?
No, she's probably, got a van full of, furnace filters and light bulbs and stuff, and she's going around and doing the tinkering, and she's going to stay busy.
What a pathetic fool. That big, dumb bully. You know why he was such a bully and such a jerk-off is because he knew he was stupid. That's why. He couldn't answer the questions. When he was like, duh, and smacking his lips at everyone and everyone thought it was an affectation because he was so much smarter. It's because he was a big dummy.
He wasn't playing chess.
No, he was playing.
He didn't even understand checkers.
Playing tiddlywinks.
He's a big dope, and he was standing there because he was too stupid to answer the questions. That's why. Congratulations, you idiot. Way to talk down to everyone for 20 years, stupid.
And now we can put a pin in it.
30 years.
Until tomorrow. Something else.
Well, until 9 when we have Matt Votor talking.
But I just wanted another
Bill's
voice
legacy now.
to yell about him. Because I don't want it just to be us. But congratulations, you stupid old fool. But he's banging a 21-year-old.
Yeah, this is going to lead to a lifetime of bed of roses.
Yeah. My dad's a defense attorney, and he's representing, this high-profile crime. He's on TV every day. Oh, by the way, his girlfriend's going to be doing cross-examinations today.
She can go to law school.
Hey, John, guess what? Hey, guess what? Your dad's got a new girlfriend. She just bought $8 million worth of property. Oh, yeah, what's her experience in it? I don't know. She liked philosophy. What an idiot.
Terrific.
Go to hell, you stupid prick. I'm glad all this has happened to you. There is a God.
There it is.
That's the money shot right there.
All right. The good news is there's more Belichick stuff. All right, Hardy, you give me. This is a good one, a real good one. All right, so go. And it allows me to kind of give you some information I have, but go ahead.
The Dudes on Dudes podcast, Julian Edelman, Rob Gronkowski talking about the situation, and Edelman saying that she's just doing the Bears role. Now, Bears Nigerian, who was Bill's right-hand man for years, is now working for Bill O'Brien at Boston College, from what I understand. But Julian Edelman is saying she's just doing that, handling a lot of the football ops, the PR stuff, the social media. And Julian Edelman said she's just doing what any PR person would do, jumping in on an interview when a question goes out of bounds. Number one, we already heard from one PR person that we know this week who's been in the business for 25 years and has handled high-profile clients and said not only does she not jump in, but number two, she's in national interviews, has only been on set once or twice in her 25 years of doing this. Otherwise, green room or control room, not anywhere near like the actual action, and with the ability, nor would she interrupt. You prep your client ahead of time, and then you let them go do their thing.
Yeah, if that's the case, why would anyone listen to the Bro on Bro podcast if they're at the mercy of publicists?
Right.
I mean, I was so set to listen to the Bro on Bro podcast because I am into gay culture.
So on this Instagram post from the Dudes on Dudes podcast, where he's saying she's just doing her job, it's getting blown out of proportion, Nikki Glazer said 100% this. She's acting as his publicist. Publicists do this during interviews. People are out for blood. Again, I mean, I could push back on that based on one.
You interview Nikki Glazer. There's not a publicist there that's getting involved.
No, because Nikki can handle herself and knows what to do.
No, that's ridiculous. But go ahead.
So, one of the first comments under Nikki's, who says publicists do this all the time, Jenny B, Jen Belichick, Steve Belichick's wife, comments, publicists act in a professional manner and don't storm off set delaying an interview.
So Steve Belichick's wife now has publicly come out insulting Jordan, which can now lead me, I feel, in a good moral place to say I'm not surprised. I can just say from what I have heard, this is not shocking information.
Rob Ninkovich.
Hardy, you can back me up on this. From what I have heard,
yeah,
and what is I've read,
yeah,
not for public, this does not surprise you or I.
No,
Yes,
not at all.
Thank you. Okay, go ahead.
Rob Ninkovich choosing not to comment on this specifically, posting instead a meme of Steve Carell just slowly turning and walking out of the room as if I don't agree or think you're being wrong.
No, Ninkovich worked for ESPN. There's not a publicist in there getting involved. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Ninkovich doesn't agree, but then he does comment to Gronk. He said, Botox looks good, by the way. Smooth.
I love Ninkovich.
I love Nick,
yeah. I love Ninkovich.
It's hard to look at him, but he's very good at what he does.
Let's just put it this way. There are people in Belichick's family that are not fans fans of Jennifer.
No.
Aniston.
And so, if family specifically related to
Jordan
by
Hudson.
marriage, and then in his orbit, who are coming out saying, no.
No, and this is something. When I say that people in Bill's orbit are not overly, I think, against what I'm saying, I don't think I'm speaking out of school.